Trade rumors are escalating as a new report has a wild update for us in terms of a guy being on the trade market that would be a perfect fit for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but it'd come at the cost of not re-signing one of their own. We talk about the latest report right here on Dodgers Digest. I'm Jace Andrews, and I appreciate you hanging out with me and tuning into today's show. Want to remind you real quick, hit that subscribe button, 100% free, and of course get your daily coverage on the Los Angeles Dodgers throughout the entirety of the offseason and into the 2026 season. Andrew Friedman has not been too active thus far, but neither has many teams. In fact, today we finally had the first, I'd say, big splash in MLB free agency as Josh Naylor signed a 5-year deal with the Seattle Mariners. He was traded there in this season, ends up signing a 5-year, basically, not an extension, but a deal. Now for Andrew Friedman, the goal stands still of what can he do to make this team better than what it was this past season. Obviously, there's guys like Shohei Hernández, Miguel Rojas, who are very key contributors, but ultimately they have some priorities here. And, well, we got a new report today saying the Dodgers and Yankees are expected to compete for an all-star utility man in a blockbuster trade. Utility man is interesting because, as we know, the Dodgers, Kike can be that in some aspects, but he's more of an outfielder. Miguel Rojas was their utility guy. Shohei Ohtani wants for the Dodgers to re-sign him, and a lot of the Dodgers fan base, I feel like, loves Miguel and wants him to come back, especially after his World Series heroics. However, there might be another guy that could be better fit for the job, and that is kind of intriguing when you think about this Dodgers team and really what they need on the diamond. Miguel Rojas can play pretty much anywhere, I would say, but there's a guy out there who can play short, second, third, outfield, and would be a very good candidate for the Los Angeles Dodgers. His name is Brendan Donovan of the St. Louis Cardinals, and he had a very, very good year in this past season, and I kind of want to talk about why he is being linked to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I know you're saying, okay, well, who actually reported this? Well, it's from a very reputable source, Mark Feinsand of MLB.com. He always puts out great reports and is very trustworthy in these aspects. Quote, infielder Brendan Donovan, who is arbitration eligible for 2 more years, is also drawing a lot of interest and seems likely to be traded to the Yankees, or traded. He follows up by saying the Yankees, Dodgers, Royals, and Guardians are among the teams believed to be potential landing spots for Donovan, end quote. Donovan fits well for the Los Angeles Dodgers for a couple of different reasons. I like what he's been able to do with the glove, with the bat. A .353 on-base percentage is really what this team needs. And in 460 at-bats, he only struck out 67 times, getting 132 hits. He's not a speedster, only stole 3 bases, but he does walk at a decent pace, 42 base on balls. I like a lot of what he brings to the table in terms of utility man. But again, you give up Miguel Rojas, and so I think that's kind of the question is who is better, Brendan Donovan or Miguel Rojas? In terms of his baseball savant, some things that stick out, his K percentage is in the 92nd percentile. His whiff rate is in the 96th percentile. His chase rate is in the upper percentile. His pretty much all the good stuff when it comes to batting is in a very good spot. So his expected on-base percentage, expected batting average, all in high percentiles. He's also got a very good arm in terms of arm strength. It's going to be in the upper percentile. And while his fielding isn't amazing, nor his speed, he is a guy who can play all over the field. And that is something that should be intriguing to Andrew Friedman and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Continue along, Mark Feinsand saying the 4-year player won a Gold Glove and made an all-star team this past season. Los Angeles needs players who can handle the corner outfield slots, both of which Donovan can play well. He can also help cover Edman since he's undergoing ankle surgery this offseason, end quote. And I think that's something that you have to address when you look at this Dodgers team from here on out is, do they need an outfielder? 100%. Even if they re-sign Kike, he's going to have some surgery as well and could not be ready for the start of the season. The expectation is that he is, but who's to say he's going to be at 100%? Tommy Edman's going to have surgery, and you don't want to throw him right back into the fire, depending on whether or not he's able to play in the World Baseball Classic. And so getting a guy like Brendan Donovan, making him that outfield move, as opposed to trading, or rather signing Kyle Tucker or Trent Grisham or Cody Bellinger, can be a viable option. And we know from previous reports the Los Angeles Dodgers may look to kind of be at a standstill with their outfield in some aspects, and that they don't feel as though they need to make a move. They talked about Ryan Ward, potentially the guy to take over in left field, and that's be their outfield with Teoscar Hernández, Andy Pages, and then Ryan Ward in left. But I don't like that option just because that puts a lot of pressure on what would be a rookie and, a very high caliber rookie, in my opinion, a guy that you want to have for a long time. So this is kind of that middle line. You talk about the Dodgers looking for a plug option. Brendan Donovan is a plug option because he can play in left field, he can play in right field. You can give Teoscar some more time off. You can allow for Ryan Ward to kind of slowly integrate himself into the lineup if that's really the route you want to go. You can also say that, we need a second baseman. Let's put him there. Now, the big question, the big statement in all this is, well, don't we already have that in Miguel Rojas? And you'll be right. Miguel can play second. He had some very good defensive plays in the World Series, specifically Game 6, getting the pick from Kike Hernandez. And then, of course, in Game 7 with the home run. And then, of course, the play to get Isaiah Kiner-Falefa out at home. A couple of very big things for the Los Angeles Dodgers that can't be overlooked. It cannot be overlooked. But ultimately, at the end of the day, who are you going to take is the question. Miguel Rojas with the on-base percentage was way lower. He had a lot less at-bats this season because, well, he wasn't trustworthy. And while he had some heroics later on in the season, especially in that World Series, people forget that he was basically benched in the middle of the playoff run because he could not do anything. He could not hit, and some of the fielding errors were there. And at the end of the day, it was time for, to sit him down. And Dave Roberts kind of made it very clear that he wasn't going to really play him. He was going to be kind of a utility role and didn't play a lot. And ultimately, we kind of forget that because of the heroics he had in the World Series in Game 6 and 7. And I do think that he should deserve all that. I'm not saying that we take that away, but it is something to note. Like, we talk so much about how Andy Pages, he's just going to be able to slot right in there, right, and play. But he had a pretty horrible end of the season as well. And so, given you have the option of Miguel Rojas that you can re-sign, he knows the organization, Shohei wants him back, going to be a cheaper price, you're not going to have to go trade for somebody and give up prospects or whatever, you're going to be able to re-sign him. I ask you the question right now, would you rather could keep Miguel Rojas or would you rather trade for Brendan Donovan? If you would rather keep Miguel Rojas, then I want you to get in the comment section and type K for keep. If you'd rather trade for Brendan Donovan, you think he is worth the price, then I want you to type T for trade. I'm in the middle. I love Miguel Rojas. I really do. But I can't help but look at the stats for Brendan Donovan over the past 3 seasons and see, top tier average, the on-base percentage being 350 or around that area in every of the last 3 seasons, is slugging above 400, his OPS in the 700s. He really does fit a lot of ways. And in my opinion, if the Dodgers truly want to go this route where we are going to hang on to Ryan Ward, we're not going to make a move for an outfielder or whatever, you got to get something because you don't want to, again, throw Ryan Ward out there to the Wolves. Brendan Donovan is that perfect piece because then you can also get the weight off of Teoscar Hernández in that outfield. Teoscar had a very not good year that's kind of going unnoticed in some aspects. So in a lot of aspects, Brendan Donovan is that perfect fit, especially with Tommy Edman and his surgery. If you do re-sign Kike, that's great, but he's also injured. So I think there is a way here where Brendan Donovan will be able to play every single day and yet won't take time away from anybody. Because Tommy will be injured. You can give him time. You didn't really play him in the entire World Series or postseason anyway. Obviously, Teoscar, I think, could use some extra time off in some aspects. And then for Ryan Ward, as a rookie, comes in here and doesn't have to be the high expectations that, the MVP of the Pacific League really commends in some aspects. So I'm curious for your 2 cents. Still, let me know in the comment section. Is this a guy that you would like to have on the Dodgers? Is this a guy that you would say, no, I don't want? You'd rather keep Miggy Rowe? Let me know down in the comment section. For now, though, that's what we got for you. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on today's show. Again, if you made it to the end of the video and you are not yet subscribed, I promise you it's going to be the best thing you do all day. And go down there and hit that subscribe button. Peace out, though, for now, guys.